Have you ever caught yourself thinking, why do I feel older than I am? Maybe your joints creak a little louder than they used to, or your energy seems to fade by midday. You're not alone. But here's the thing, getting older doesn't have to mean slowing down. In fact, if you look at many 80-year-olds in Japan, they're not just surviving, they're thriving. Imagine waking up at 80 feeling strong, with a sense of purpose, able to walk to the local market, cook a meal from scratch, maybe even ride a bike or tend to a garden. That's not just wishful thinking, that's reality. For many older adults in Japan, especially in places like Okinawa, where people are famous for living long, vibrant lives, well into their 90s and even past 100. So what's their secret? In today's video, we're going to talk about 6 longevity habits that help Japanese seniors stay sharp, active, and full of life. And the best part? You can start practicing these habits today, no matter where you live and no matter your age. These aren't expensive routines or extreme diets. They're simple, meaningful choices that support a healthier, more joyful life as the years go on. Let's start with one that's incredibly powerful and surprisingly overlooked. Have you ever noticed how many of us start eating less as we age? Not just in quantity, but in variety. We stick to what's convenient, what's easy to chew, or what feels safe. But in Japan, particularly among older adults, there's a tradition called hara hachi bu, which means eat until you are 80% full. It might sound like just another diet trick, but it's so much more than that. Eating until you're satisfied, not stuffed, gives your body a chance to process food more efficiently. It reduces stress on your digestion, keeps your blood sugar balanced, and supports a healthy weight, all without cutting out your favorite foods. Think about how you feel after a big, heavy meal. Sluggish, sleepy, maybe even uncomfortable. Now imagine stopping just before that point, feeling light and energized instead. And it's not just how much they eat, it's what they eat. Many Japanese seniors enjoy a diet full of colorful vegetables, fermented foods like miso and pickled vegetables, plenty of seaweed, tofu, small portions of fish, and just a bit of rice or noodles. Meals are often home-cooked and eaten slowly, sometimes with family, sometimes alone, but still mindfully. So how can you bring this into your own life? Start by checking in with your body while eating. Pause halfway through your meal and ask yourself, am I still truly hungry or just eating out of habit? Try adding more variety to your plate. Even something simple like sautéed spinach with garlic, a spoonful of sauerkraut, or a bit of grilled salmon can make a big difference. Another essential part of thriving in later years has to do with movement. And no, I'm not talking about hitting the gym or lifting heavy weights, though if you enjoy that, more power to you. What many older adults in Japan do differently is they integrate movement into their daily life, not just a set time for exercise. You might see someone in their late 70s walking or biking to the store, sweeping their front porch every morning, stretching before bed, or gardening for hours. These activities may seem small, but they keep the body flexible and the joints strong. Movement becomes a natural part of the day, not a chore, but a rhythm. Think about your own routine. Are there opportunities to add a little more gentle motion into your day? Maybe you take the stairs instead of the elevator, or stand and stretch during TV commercials. Even something like tending to potted plants, folding laundry with mindfulness, or taking a short walk after dinner can help. Your body stay limber and your mind stay sharp. And speaking of walking, it's not about how far or how fast you go, but how consistent you are. In Japan, especially in areas known for long-lived people, you'll see seniors out and about every day, rain or shine. It's not a fitness contest, it's a lifestyle. A simple daily stroll, even around the block, helps with circulation, mood, and even memory. Let's not forget that our bodies respond to how we treat them, but so do our minds and hearts. That brings me to something that might surprise you. Many of the happiest and healthiest older people in Japan stay socially connected, but not always in the way you might think. They don't necessarily have a packed calendar of events or dozens of friends. Instead, they often have what's called an ikigai, a reason to wake up in the morning. It might be tending a garden, caring for a grandchild, making crafts, volunteering, or simply being part of a community group. Having a sense of purpose, something to look forward to each day, makes a huge difference in how people age. You know that feeling when you're excited to do something, even something small like preparing a meal for someone or learning a new skill. That spark doesn't fade with age, but it does need tending. Ask yourself, what gives you that spark? Maybe it's reconnecting with an old hobby. Maybe it's calling someone you care about. Or maybe it's helping others in a way that feels meaningful to you. In Japan, it's not uncommon for people well into their 80s and 90s to still have a role in their community. Not because they have to, but because they want to. They feel useful, appreciated, and involved. And that sense of connection, even if it's just a smile and a conversation at the corner shop, keeps the heart strong and the spirit young. So if you've been feeling a bit disconnected lately, start small. Say hello to a neighbor, call someone you haven't spoken to in a while, or find a small way to contribute to something beyond yourself. That feeling of belonging, of being part of something, can be just as powerful for your health as diet and exercise. Before we continue, if you're finding these insights helpful so far, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us grow and bring you more practical tips for living your best life at any age. Plus, I'd love to hear from you, so feel free to leave a comment and share what habit you might try first. Now that we've touched on the power of mindful eating, natural movement, and finding purpose through connection, let's explore even more ways you can bring this energy and vitality into your own life. Because when it comes to living well into your 80s and beyond, one of the most overlooked secrets is something surprisingly simple: the environment you surround yourself with every day. In Japan, especially in regions like Okinawa, where people are known to live long and happy lives, the community layout encourages daily movement, social interaction, and mental stimulation. But even more than that, it supports a feeling of peace and balance. Homes are often uncluttered, filled with natural light, and connected to the outdoors, whether that's through a sliding door that opens to a small garden or a simple porch where you can sit and enjoy the breeze. You don't have to live in Japan to recreate that feeling. Your environment plays a huge role in how you feel, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Think about your home. Does it calm you or stress you out? Are there things you could let go of, both physically and emotionally, to create more space for comfort and ease? Maybe it's as simple as opening the windows in the morning to let in fresh air. Maybe it's placing a chair near the window where you can sip tea and look at the trees. Or maybe it's taking a little time to declutter that one corner that always seems to gather things. These small changes can have a surprisingly big impact on your peace of mind. And when you feel calmer in your environment, your body reflects that too. Your heart rate settles, your digestion improves, and your sleep becomes more restful. In Japan, many older adults keep their homes tidy not out of obligation, but because it helps them feel grounded. Cleaning itself is often treated like a form of movement and meditation, a way to care for both the space and the self at the same time. And that brings me to another beautiful aspect of Japanese longevity: daily rituals. Not routines, out of habit or obligation, but quiet, intentional moments built into the day that provide structure and peace. It could be as simple as enjoying a warm cup of green tea in the afternoon, or taking a quiet moment in the morning to stretch, breathe, and set an intention for the day. In Okinawa, there's a strong tradition of starting the day slowly, often with gratitude. It might be giving thanks for the sun, for the food, for life itself. This mindset isn't just poetic. It helps train the brain to focus on the good, even in later years when challenges become more frequent. A grateful heart leads to a lighter spirit. So what might a daily ritual look like in your life? Maybe it's sitting quietly with a cup of tea before you check your phone or turn on the news. Maybe it's taking a few minutes before bed to write down 3 things that went well that day. These practices help anchor your day and create moments of calm, even if the world outside feels busy or uncertain. Let's talk about another powerful ingredient in the Japanese approach to aging well. Respect for aging itself. In many Western cultures, there's a tendency to hide or fight aging, to treat wrinkles and gray hair like something to be ashamed of. But in Japan, aging is often seen as something beautiful. Elders are respected, listened to, and honored for their wisdom and experience. This respect doesn't just come from others, it also comes from within. When you start to see your own aging process not as a decline, but as an evolution, your relationship with your body and your life begins to shift. You start to appreciate the time you have, the knowledge you've gained, and the person you've become. That mindset alone can do wonders for your health and happiness. You are not less than you were at 40 or 50. You are more. You've lived through experiences, joys, losses, and lessons that have shaped you. You carry stories and memories that matter. And when you give yourself permission to embrace that, rather than resist it, you open the door to a more peaceful, fulfilling chapter of life. One beautiful example of this is how older people in Japan continue to contribute in small but meaningful ways. Whether it's helping in the kitchen, sharing stories with grandchildren, or simply taking part in daily tasks, their presence matters. They don't feel pushed aside or left behind, and even when health issues arise, many elders approach them with quiet resilience. They don't expect to feel 25 forever. Instead, they adapt. They adjust their diet, they slow down their movement, they rest when needed, but they keep going. That mindset, that gentle persistence, is a secret weapon in longevity. Of course, staying mentally sharp is just as important as staying physically well. And here's where another key piece comes in. Japanese elders often continue to challenge their brains daily, not by forcing themselves to study or memorize things, but through activities that are fun, social, and meaningful. Puzzle games, traditional arts like calligraphy, dancing, or even karaoke. These are not just pastimes, they're brain food. When was the last time you learned something new just for the joy of it? Not to master it or prove anything, but to enjoy the process. Whether it's picking up a new recipe, trying your hand at watercolor painting, or learning how to use a new gadget, keeping your mind active and curious is one of the best ways to stay young at heart. And remember, there's no expiration date on learning or laughter. Even small things, like singing along to a favorite song or playing a board game with someone you love, can spark joy and strengthen your mind at the same time. Before we continue, I want to thank you for spending this time with me. If you're enjoying these insights, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me bring more encouraging, practical content your way. And if you've picked up any favorite tips so far, or if something resonated with you, let me know in the comments. I'd truly love to hear your thoughts. Now, we've talked about the importance of daily movement, mindful eating, having a purpose, creating a peaceful environment, honoring your age, and keeping your brain active. But there's still one more powerful element that ties it all together, and it might just be the most important one of all. Because while all these habits support a healthy, vibrant life, there's one more piece that ties it all together, and that's emotional well-being. In Japan, many people live with a sense of calm and acceptance that gently carries them through each stage of life. It's not about never feeling stress, sadness, or frustration. It's about how they relate to those feelings, how they meet life as it is. One concept that really stands out is shikata ga nai, which loosely translates to "it cannot be helped." Now, that doesn't mean giving up or being passive. It means acknowledging that some things are beyond our control, and rather than wasting energy fighting them, we focus on how we respond. There's grace in that kind of acceptance. It lightens the emotional load and helps people recover more quickly from setbacks. Think about how often we get caught up in worry about health, about loved ones, about things that may or may not happen. That stress, especially when it becomes chronic, can wear on the body just as much as poor diet or lack of sleep. But when you practice emotional flexibility, learning to breathe through the hard moments, letting go of what you can't change, something powerful happens. Your body relaxes, your mind clears, and life feels more manageable. This doesn't mean you should never speak up or that you should stuff down your feelings. Quite the opposite. In many parts of Japan, older adults are encouraged to express emotions through art, music, writing, or quiet conversation. They process their feelings rather than push them aside. And in doing so, they avoid the emotional bottlenecks that often lead to anxiety, depression, or even physical illness. A simple way to invite more emotional balance into your life is to build in small moments of mindfulness. You don't need to meditate for an hour or chant mantras unless you want to. It could be as simple as noticing your breath while you wash the dishes, or sitting outside for 5 minutes and listening to the birds. These moments connect you back to the present, back to yourself. Another beautiful expression of emotional health in Japanese longevity is their way of connecting with others. Often quiet, but deeply meaningful. A gentle bow, a shared meal, a warm thank you. These little interactions, full of care and respect, create a deep sense of belonging and emotional safety. If you've ever felt isolated or alone, know this: you're not meant to carry the weight of life all by yourself. Even small connections matter. A smile exchanged with a stranger, a phone call with a friend, a kind word to the person at the grocery store. It all adds up. Emotional nourishment is just as real and important as the food on your plate. And here's something else that many long-lived elders in Japan embrace. They don't chase youth, they cultivate peace. They're not obsessed with trying to look younger or keep up with every new trend. Instead, they dress in what makes them feel good. They move in ways that honor their bodies, and they allow themselves to slow down without guilt. There's wisdom in that. You don't need to keep up with a fast-paced world. You just need to live at the pace that feels right for you. Maybe that means walking a little slower, but noticing more along the way. Maybe it means taking more naps. Maybe it means spending more time just being, not always doing. Rest is not laziness, it's restoration. And now, let's gently bring everything together. Thriving into your 80s and beyond isn't about being perfect or doing everything, right? It's about making small, meaningful choices every day. It's about eating in a way that nourishes you, moving in a way that feels natural, connecting with others, honoring your space, embracing your age, tending to your mind, and taking care of your heart. You don't have to move to Japan to enjoy these benefits. You just need to start where you are, with what you have. Maybe today you'll choose to take a short walk, or prepare a colorful meal, or call someone you love. Maybe you'll take a moment to sit quietly with your thoughts. These are not small things. These are the building blocks of a full and joyful life. If you're ever tempted to believe that it's too late for you, please don't. Your story is still unfolding, your life still matters, and there are still beautiful chapters ahead. The habits that help 80-year-olds in Japan thrive are not reserved for the few. They're available to anyone, including you, willing to live with a little more intention, a little more kindness, and a little more joy. So take a deep breath, smile, and give yourself permission to feel proud of where you are and hopeful for what's ahead. I'd love to know, which of these longevity habits inspired you the most? Was it the mindful eating, the daily movement, or the sense of purpose? Maybe it was something else entirely. Share your thoughts in the comments. Your experience might encourage someone else too. And if this video gave you something to think about, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more helpful, heart-centered content just like this. Together we can build a community of strength, wisdom and support for every season of life. Here's to living your best life, not just someday, but right now. Whether you're 60, 70, 80 or beyond, you're not just aging. You're becoming more you. And that's something to celebrate. Take care and thank you so much for watching.